Hello there, my name is Michael Maynard and welcome back to Gorilla Picking. Now, the devastation that you see in front of you there is two American padlocks, beautiful padlocks that have been sent to me by West Coast Picks. Now, I actually got a massive, I'll just show you actually, I got a massive parcel last week from West Coast Picks. If I just zoom in here a little, pretty much everything you see in that gigantic pile was all in one parcel from West Coast Picks, and I am playing my way through those. But what I thought I'd tackle first is these American padlocks. Now, the thing about American padlocks is we all know they're a hell of a lot of fun to pick. They are just great locks. But I don't think I've ever sat down and thought about exactly why that is. They are a very fun, very satisfying pick. And what I've done here, I have picked both of these locks already this evening. I've got that on camera. We'll go over that in a second. And I have disassembled this one so that you can see its component parts here. And there are three elements, three things about this lock that go together to make them very interesting. Now, what I'm going to do here is move this stuff out of the way for a second and get a piece of paper in front of the camera. Give me a second, guys. Right, we're back and you guys are going back to school for a minute. Now, there are three things that make these locks a hell of a lot of fun. The first one is self-evident. They make just such a satisfying clunk when you pick them, and we all know this clunk. However, that's not the major thing. The next two things are the things that I really want to talk about. First of all, the feedback. The feedback that American padlocks give is awesome. As long as you know what you're looking for, you know exactly where you are with them the whole time. And the spools in particular, when they set, have just got an absolutely unmistakable feeling. Now, the spools are these weird looking things. They are actually a hybrid between a spool and a serrated when it's not rolling out of frame. What you'll see if you look there, gents, is that it is a spool, all right, okay, but with a serrated edge to it, and so those two elements pick slightly differently depending on where in the pin you are. So they pick like a serrated in part of the time and a spool like the other part of the time. And the feedback that you get when you're doing those things, particularly when you're moving it over the edge of the spool here, is massive and unmistakable. You can see that it's quite a deep spool, and deep spools give amazing feedback. But here's the thing, and this third thing is the thing that I really want to get home with you guys. Even though the spools and the serrated pins give you great feedback, okay, a lot of the time you don't actually get a great deal of feedback when you actually get the lock open, and this is because of a very interesting characteristic that these locks have built into them. The tension that you need to pick them and the tension that you need to open them are very similar. Now, I want you guys to think about a number line, all right, with no tension whatsoever here. Number line going up here, and at the end here, enough tension to absolutely lock the core solid. So at this point, you can't move a thing, and at this point, you've got no tension on the pins at all. Right, now most locks when you pick them, you can actually use quite a big range of tension. That is not the case with these locks. With the American padlock, you have got a very small usable window of tension. Let's say it's down about here. So the first thing you'll notice is that it's quite low, all right? And the second thing is it's quite narrow. So when you are picking the lock, you have got to keep your tension in this little wee zone here. That's quite challenging as it is, okay? But here's the really interesting thing. The amount of turning force that you need to open the padlock once you've got it picked is infinitesimally larger than the amount that you need to pick it. So here's your open, and here's the force that you need when you're picking the thing. And very often you'll actually have this thing picked, but you'll be too diffident. You'll be too cautious to actually push the core around, because you think you'll lock everything up, and so you don't get the open, even though the lock was unlocked. And you'll see later on in one of the videos that I actually did that. I wasn't trying to illustrate it, but that's just the way it happened to work out with that particular lock. So there you go, guys. 3 things make these things awesome: the nice satisfying clunk, the huge feedback you get, but combined with, and this is the real key, this is the take-home message here, the razor thin amount of tension that you have to put on here, the razor thin window that you get, and then the very, very small amount more than that you need to get the open. So there's the theory. Now watch me do a couple in practice, guys. Okay, gents, well, let's see if we can get into the first of these 2 Americans. Light tension, top of the keyway tension with the Mad Bob 1.2. Nothing on 1. Click on 2. 3's binding right on the bottom. Okay, 3, and we dropped into a little false set. Nothing on 4, can't get to 5. Okay, back to 1. 1's binding, click, and a massive turn there. 2 counter rotating and drops into another false set. 3 counter rotating, deeper false set again. 4 counter rotating, drops into a deeper false set. We must only have 5 to go. Ooh, okay, and we can't actually get to 5 with this short hook. We'll have a look at the bitting on that key later. I'm just going in with, that's a Peterson number 5 hook in 15 thousandths. It's my kind of go-to pick for difficult bitting. Oh, and it is a wee bit hard to get up under there as well. Okay, let's try a Sparrow's short hook, a Sparrow's steep hook, I'm sorry, also in 15 thousandths, just because that's what I happen to have lying around. We're getting up the back. Let's see if we can get onto 5. And the thing was open. Okay, we just proved our point. Right, here you go, gentlemen. Now you're going to see me pick this lock later on in this video, but you are now going to understand exactly why it picks in the way that it does. I was oversetting pin number 2. And I didn't end up picking pin number 5 at all, and you can see exactly why that would be. Pins 2 and 5 are 0 lift pins, so they do not need any effort on them at all. They are set, just sitting in the lock basically. There are only a couple of spools in the lock. All these 3 are serrated, and because this one was set already, that spool there didn't even come into play. So all I had to do was set these 2 serrated pins here. That would be pins 3 and 4. Get over the tiny little serration on this thing, so the little spool has a little serration on the edge of it, as you can see. And then all I had to do after that was set the spool on number 1, and we were cooking with gas. Righto, gentlemen, let's see if we can get into this wee lock. Nice light tension, nothing on 1. 2 actually feels set already. 3, click, and a definite little turn there. 4. Not quite sure what's going on with 4. And 5, nothing. Okay, back to the beginning. 1, click, click. That's definitely our binder. Little movement on the cord to tell us we got it right. 2 feels set. 3, click. 4, click. 5, nothing. Back to the beginning. Yeah, I think we've overset something here, so let's just back our tension right off. Okay, I felt some bits reset there. Okay, yeah. What I'd done there was overset 2, and I think 2 binds right on the bottom. So I let that drop back down again, tweak 3, and now we're in our false set. We should only be 1 or 2 spools away from an open now. 1. 1 is counter rotating. Here we go, and we are open. Right, so you saw what we did there. We had a combination of serrateds and spools, and this was a lucky one actually. As soon as it counter rotated on that number 1 pin there, it just opened straight up. So we will gut this lock. Now I overset 2 really easily, and I don't remember picking 5 at all. And I might just have a look at the bitting on this and see if there's anything to explain that. Oh yeah, okay, well that explains a hell of a lot. So pin 2 here was really easy to overset. I think it was basically set from the right word go, and number 5 was set from the word go as well, 0 lift pins.